Hi, my name is Sam Johnson and I'm a voice teacher. Today I'm going to be reacting to and analyzing JoJo, Alessia Cara, and JinJoo performing I Can Only in a bathroom. So far, you can hear that she's kind of leaning really heavily into this upper chest voice area, the G, which is right below her first bridge, because it brings out this flip that she does a second later. Every time she goes to the she's flipping, she's letting go of kind of the weight that she's holding on to with her vocal cords, and it results in just a totally different sound. I also love the sound in this bathroom. A lot of people find that singing in bathrooms is actually really easy, or that it's just fun and it's nice and it sounds good. It's because you can hear yourself better. There's so many hard surfaces for the sound to bounce off of that you hear yourself a little bit more true to what it actually is. Plus, that reverb polishes out anything that might be a little bit bumpy in the sound. So she sounds great so far.
I can only drink what I want to drink. I can only say what I want to say. I can only think what I want to think. Don't hate me, don't. I can only love what I want to love. I can only smoke what I want to smoke. I can only do what I want. Don't hate me, don't. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Don't hate me.
That time when she goes up through that, she doesn't flip, but she also doesn't pull chest voice up. She just holds on to the same amount of resistance that she didn't overdo this time because she didn't need to get that effect. So she backed off a little bit, went up, she was able to hold on to the feeling of chest voice even though it kind of moved up into her head. But it wasn't pulling chest voice up, it was mixing in head voice, which let her have the sound that sounded like chest voice even though it wasn't pure chest voice. It was a little bit more of a mix all the way through.
All that you're getting is all that you see. I'm good. Nothing else ever made much sense to me. Not even. I'm coming up these walls. Coming in so far. Even if I fall on me. Feel myself alive. Up here in the sky. My ecstasy.
The same thing. That time she went a lot higher than JoJo did. She went up to the D, where I think the highest note that JoJo went to in the full voice was the B flat. And she did it in a voice that sounds like chest voice, in a sound that is connected, that doesn't sound like it's flipped or breathy. It's the same sound as what she'd get for some of her lower notes. She got that because she let her vocal cords just stretch out but stay together. If they started stretching out to approximate the pitch, but they didn't stay together as much, then it would turn into more of the flipped sound, which she then goes to a second after. So she's also using this flip effect just as a style choice, which is a cool choice. Sometimes it's difficult to kind of go back and forth between a really connected sound and a flipped sound. It requires the depth of your vocal folds to kind of let go for a second, and it's a trickier coordination. But if you're struggling with making this kind of effect right now, maybe try to just get everything a little bit more smooth, and then you can bring out style on top of it, on top of good technique, rather than just trying to make your technique match a style where, you know, it's kind of a more advanced thing. Sometimes we don't need to sound exactly like this at the beginning stages, but we need it to just feel good first. That's the first goal, is making singing feel good and easy.
I can only say what I want to say. I can only think what I want to think. Don't hate me, don't hate. I can only look.
Nice harmonies.
I can only look how I look. I can only be what I want to be. Don't hate me, don't hate me. I can only. Don't hate me, don't.
She looks so relaxed, Alessia does.
I can only. For a drink and go.
That time she went up to the same D that Alessia went to earlier, but this time she let it thin out so much more. It was a very forward sound. Like if I was making that sound, I would probably feel it a lot at the front of my face. That's generally what people mean when they say forward. It also kind of has to do with where your tongue is, whether your tongue is more forward or back. But what it sounded like right there was just this very forward, straight out sound that she wasn't trying to manipulate into being anything else. However, it was a similar vowel to what she did at the lower stuff. It just didn't have as much weight to it because she had to thin it out a little bit more in order for it to stretch and go up into that higher note. I think of the vocal folds kind of like a rubber band, where if it's a really thick rubber band and it's not being stretched, there's not very much tension on it, it's going to be thicker. It's going to have all of its mass. As soon as you start stretching it, which is what you need to do in order to get higher pitches, the mass also starts thinning, right? It's not nearly as thick anymore. We have a lot more control over our vocal folds than we have over a rubber band, but if we don't let it thin out like that, it just doesn't work quite as well. We can start adding in a little bit more depth of fold, but it's harder a lot of the time, and a lot of the time it starts making us want to pull chest voice a lot more if we don't let it kind of thin out as we start going towards higher notes. So she's doing a good job of that so that she can maintain the sound of it being connected, because her chords are connected and there is still some depth of chord, but it's thinning out enough that it moves into this high note rather than just pulling the really thick chest voice up high. Then she kind of flips. Yeah, that's more how a classical soprano would kind of do it with the rounder ooh. It's not nearly as forward of a sound. She gets a little bit more agility when she does it that way, where if she was doing a very, very full sound, sometimes it's hard to get that quick of a run that she just did.
Don't hate me. I can hold it. I can hold it. I can hold it.
That sounds really good.
I can hold it. I can hold it. I can hold it.
They sounded really good. The bathroom, just the acoustics of it, hide a lot of imperfections in the sound. It just smooths everything out. Practice in the bathroom. It's a good place to practice, especially in the shower, because then you get a lot of steam, which just helps everything else out. It loosens everything up. But yeah, there's a reason that people sing in bathrooms, and it's helpful. If JoJo was coming to me for a lesson, I would probably want to make sure that she's not jutting her chin out when she's singing. That is the only thing that I saw that might be difficult over time, but she's kind of using that to help engage some extra chest voice, like pulling on purpose. However, if she was losing her voice through a set or something, that might be one of the culprits, where you can kind of get similar sounds of pulled chest without engaging or messing with your jaw very much. It wasn't that big of a deal, and it didn't affect her sound too much, but that's the only thing that I could see that I'm like, maybe we could tweak that if it's a problem. But a lot of the times, technique just needs to be functional. And if you're getting the sounds that you want and it's a sustainable sound, you're not using all of your vocal capital,
Then do it.
all technique doesn't need to be the exact same. And that's how we can start getting more individual sounds and unique styles. While yes, we could do a little bit of technique work if there were problems with it, and I probably would want to warm them up in a way that they're not engaging in that way, and that it just comes in as a little style thing if they need it. You know, what they're doing worked really well, and it was one take, sounded great. That's usable technique. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Go check out my description below for links to my website where you can sign up for lessons with me, my Instagram, my Twitter, my Patreon, and all other links that I have. Thank you.